So thanks everybody for joining the Windows Collaboration Display webinar today. We have got esteemed colleagues from Microsoft, Avocor and Sharp with us today, and my good friend and colleague Simon Kitson. And you are able to not interrupt us, but ask questions for us throughout the webinar. Just use the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen to put your questions in, and we're building some time at the end of the webinar to answer your questions. So I hope you can see your screen. Simon, can you just nod at me if you can see my screen? Thank you, Simon. That's very kind. I'm just going to start just quickly by looking at where we see this opportunity is. What is the size of the opportunity, and how we think WCD is going to unlock some of it for you. The 60 million meeting spaces globally is one we've known about for some time. Did you know that now latest research is saying that there's 180 million personal, small exec office type huddle space type environments, all ripe for a WCD-like product where people can use their own devices. We've seen the call stats, so we know that video calls are getting more and more important every day. In fact, certainly in the Maverick team, we live on video calls, and most of our day is spent on calls through video. And we also know that meetings more and more include remote participants, 54% of them in the latest research. And we know that enterprises, the employees who work in enterprise-sized companies are more and more working remotely. So, and that's going to increase to 72%. So in any one given day, any meeting space within an organization is utilized up to 75%. Well, if you're like us within an organization, you walk around in the halls and all the meeting rooms are booked, but there's a lot of people not in them, then you know that there's a lot of scope to get that right as well. And also when we start our meetings, there's quite often a substantial delay to get the technology working. Some information that came to us quite recently was this stat, and it's quite true in our organization as well. Excuse me. 62% of enterprises will use at least 3 or more UC platforms to communicate, which is quite astonishing. Now, what we believe is going to be more and more important is creating an experience for our customers that is one decision and actually delivered at the same time. Sorry, I have a really bad cough. At that point, I'm going to stop sharing and talking and pass over to Justine Mado, who heads up WCD from Microsoft. Justine.
Hey Jane, hey everyone, let me share content. And do you see in presentation mode?
At the moment, Justine, it's just got the first slide there, as though it's waiting to go.
Okay, but yes.
There we go.
Okay, awesome.
Perfect.
So thanks, Jane, for the introduction. Yeah, it says my internet connection is unstable, so let's see how that goes. So today I want to talk a little bit more about collaboration display. I'll walk you through a product overview, then where we see the opportunity for our partners and for the channel. And finally, a couple of call to action to really make sure that you're here and able to take advantage of this new product that it's launching. To echo what Jane was saying, we really see opportunities not only in meeting rooms, but also classroom and open layout for Windows collaboration display. We look at as Microsoft at the opportunity not only from a PC-based video conferencing, but also from an interactive wall and whiteboard perspective. For the WCD, we also believe that there is an even bigger opportunity by increasing room penetration in corporate space and also hunting some of the digital signage opportunity with a product like WCD. We're really focusing on 3 segments in terms of experience. Sure, we're scenario number one is augmenting our meeting experience, supporting our meeting room solution, bring your own meeting type of scenario, and display for collaborative creation. Also, we like to support education with a broad range of screen size, an affordable experience, and a really good plug and play solution, making it easy for teachers to prepare their classes and then come in and share on the big screen and interact with the content they've prepared. The last scenario we're focusing on is digital signage and TV. We believe that WCD would work great as an alternative to existing digital signage offering, and it would include any digital experience could be enhanced with great pen touch and AV. So what is the WCD? It's just a high-resolution, multi-touch enabled display. It's integrated stereo speaker and it's Skype certified far-field mics and camera to secure best video conference collaboration. Important to say, and I'll come back to this later, that WCDs are the only collaboration screens in the market that are certified for a Skype room system in terms of audio and video. We also have added built-in sensor that connect to Azure IoT to provide smart spaces management solution with Azure Digital Twins. And I'll spend some time on this one because the value might not be obvious at first, but we think that's a really strong differentiator for you and your customer. Finally, it connects to Skype room system, external PCs, or personal devices. We really position WCD as an appliance to enhance whatever experience you think would work best for your customers. We look at three key features with regard to collaboration display. First, it's been designed to connect with ease. It's a single cable connection through USB Type C. And when you connect it to your PC, everything syncs automatically. Audio, video, touch pen, camera, and mics all go from your own PC to the big screen. So no need to figure out how do I change my audio output, how do I change my input, and how do I deport my video. The display turns on automatically as you walk into the room thanks to some of the sensor detector that we have. And the device that you would plug into the WCD charge while connected, so no worry to run out of power during a meeting. It is designed to amplify the power of Microsoft 365 to root scale. One of the key design element for us in that product was to deliver high quality touch and inking, making sure that the requirement we were putting on our partner would deliver the same great experience in terms of ink and touch that you can have on a Windows 10 device. Finally, it makes your space smarter. So the WCD is an endpoint for Azure IoT. It will capture at least temperature, presence, light, and our partners have all both customized the experience, making that this data is sent to the Azure Digital Twin solution, which enable space management. So that we'll work a little bit about what it means, but it's a solution that enable you to figure out when a space is booked or not booked, understand usage, understand how many people gets in the meeting room, and if the meeting room is appropriate for productive collaboration. As I said earlier, we really see Windows Collaboration Display as an appliance and a built-in blocks to enable a portfolio of collaboration space devices. WCD plus any PC or phones in terms of bring your meeting. WCD plus SRS if you want more of to augment your SRS with an interactive solution. WCD with potentially an integrated PC that can run the whiteboard app or any digital signage experience. Or WCD with an integrated PC running Windows 10 desktop and a launcher that you might have seen in the market. So Windows Collaboration Display supports Skype Room system. We will be supporting touchback in and Microsoft Whiteboard in SRS in Q1, so in the next couple months. And this is really important. So WCD are going to be the only screen that you would see that are certified for Skype audio and video. It's a very hard test and bar to pass. And so we're really excited that both of our partners are going through that quality certification. You will see on the screen that might be running Windows or claiming partnership in the market. Today, the WCD from Avocor and Sharp are going to be the only two displays certified for audio and video. So that's an important point. In terms of the opportunity for our partners, we really look at these numbers, which I think are pretty key. You might have heard a lot of noise around smart spaces and how companies are looking to save energy? Well, if you look at the annual cost per square foot, what really costs the most for companies is their employee and the space. And with WCD, we're looking at targeting these two expenses. We want to make the employee more productive with great tools, and we want to also improve the usage of the space with the space management solution that we're delivering with Windows IoT. So we integrate, as I said before, to our Azure Digital Twin solution. So that shows you, and we can, there is more to learn as you go into our Azure Digital Twins website. But if you look at the right side of the slide, it can show you the type of experience that you get from all of that data you're collecting. Let's say you're in your building and a lot of meeting rooms have been booked and are not actually being used. With that solution, you're able to provide to your customer a real-time view of meeting room being available versus what is being booked. So that's really enabled to improve the usage of your space. In the couple of buildings at Microsoft where we've developed that solution, we've improved our space utilization by 26 to 40%, which means that our meeting rooms are being more used more efficiently, and so our people are being more productive. We already have solution using that backend infrastructure from different type of partner, whether it's Steelcase, CBRE, or Honeywell, and all of these solutions would be working with WCDs. We are looking to expand our offers, and you will learn more about that at ISE. Where we think it's really important is that beyond just the data collection, we think that the channel partner who are there and installing the meeting room are able to make sense of the data that is being collected by a WCD. So beyond the installation of the audio and video hardware and material that you usually do, attaching this type of space management solution to your meeting room sales enable you to build ongoing relationship with your customer and making sure that they make the best use of the assets that they've chose with you. See two options to go to market as an IoT endpoint for a customer who will look for a solution for an Azure Digital Twins partner and would consider purchasing WCDs as part of centralization, or as an interactive display for a customer who will look for a solution for their meeting room. Our channel partner will be able to provide for this customer the hardware, the meeting space, and also the analytics and performance based on the cloud solution. Call to action. So please connect with our two launch partner, Avocor and Sharp, to understand their unique and familiar value proposition. Understand how SRS plus WCD will work together with your distributor and partner. Get familiar with the opportunities around Azure Digital Twins. And please connect with Tech Data to come visit the Microsoft booth at ISE and learn about all of our Microsoft solution for collaborations. And with this, I'll give you
perfect. Thank you very much. That's awesome. Just a couple of points from me on that. Now I've stopped coughing, which is all good. You mentioned there that WCD is going to be more of an appliance and building blocks, which I think is really important. Because if we try and look at WCD and maybe look at Hub and put those two things together, you're not going to get the essence of WCD, which is absolutely going to be that appliance that can sit into everybody's meeting space and you build around it. And you also talked about that meeting room usage increasing, was it 26 to 40%? Wow, amazing. So next time we come to Microsoft, there's going to be free rooms everywhere, which is great. And I think if every organization can just boost their meeting space effectiveness, even by 10 or 20%, then that's going to save an organization an awful lot of money. So thank you for that, Justine. I'm going to hand over to Chris Parker now of Sharp. Chris, are you ready to share your screen?
Yeah, I'll click the button and let's see if that works. If I get the right one, share screen. So am I sharing that one?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Thanks, Chris. And if I just shout out to people again, reminder, if you do have any questions throughout, put it into the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen and we'll answer them as we go along, and we may leave a couple to the end to talk about as well. So Chris, I'm handing over to you.
Okay, thank you, Jane. And also thank you, Justine, for a great introduction also from Microsoft. So my name is Chris Parker. I'm the Senior Product Manager Europe at Sharp for the visual solutions, particularly our interactive solutions. And it really is an exciting time at the moment with WCD to bring something very exciting to the market. Maybe just a couple of words about Sharp. So we are global, we're present in Europe, Americas, APAC, EMEA, everywhere where you can think Sharp has a presence. We've certainly got a long history, but last 2 or 3 years we've had the power also of Foxconn behind us. So this is really where we're getting a lot of strength. And we're active in many areas, many vertical markets and segments. I've listed a few on the right. I suppose the one that is most important for me is the visual solutions, but this is one of many business areas in which we're active. Here in Europe, in particular, we have a focus on the smart office, and we have a whole variety of different solutions for the office. So, we're strong in printers, in document solutions, visual solutions, where I am with interactive. We also have managed services and facilities. So a whole range of areas in which we try and make the office as smart as possible. And that means WCD fits in really well. When it comes to WCD and all our interactive solutions for that matter, it's all about better meeting outcomes. It's about better meetings, better working together, better collaboration, presenters, moderators feeling comfortable and getting confident in what they're doing. With WCD, we can also get into maybe more smart facilities and better utilization of resources. So this is a great opportunity. The WCD is good for boardrooms, meeting rooms, training rooms, all the type of areas where people are working together. So our claim really is, walk in, plug in, work together. With WCD, it's really easy. It is all about the next generation of tool. It was mentioned already before by Justine, but I'll reiterate, we are meeting a very specific Microsoft specification with our WCD, and we're privileged. We're one of just 2 vendors who have been invited so far in order to bring WCD to the market. Camera and audio are Skype Teams certified, and this is all about looking forward to a more smart working environment, and that involves also understanding the Azure platform, its digital twins form. It's a great proposition, and Sharp with the global presence, we also know that this will be a product or a solution which is very interesting for a whole set of our global enterprise customers. So it's just like a one-page on-slide introduction. Here, maybe a little bit more of the technical detail and where Sharp in particular is also bringing along their technology and their expertise. So we've already had well over 10 years in the collaborative space with what we call our big pads. We always made a claim about our pen on paper user experience, and with PCAP Touch, we have a touch performance which is second to none. Aligned with a large 70-inch 4K resolution, we get the great detail, great overview. And we also put a great emphasis on the pens which can be used. We have optional active pens with buttons which introduce even more productivity and usability to the whole collaborative experience. With WCD, we're working much more closely than before with Microsoft. So we do see that with Office 365 or Teams, we're offering a much better experience, a much better way in which we can work together. And the seamlessness of experience in video conferencing and video collaboration is also assured. So Microsoft is important, and particularly important also with this opening into the Azure cloud solutions and services world. So WCD is really good door opener for us. It's also a good door opener for our partners and for our customers to get to know what's going on in this cloud solutions world. We'll come into a bit more detail in a couple of slides, but the WCD comes fully equipped with smart sensors, and when these are effectively used, they really do bring more value and more efficiencies into the meeting room. So Azure is really important. It really gives a good opportunity. One of the things which we have to communicate, and I think it already came through quite nicely from Justine, is that when it comes to WCD, this is just not another touch display or another interactive display or just another collaborative solution. This is not about box moving. This is really about being able to work with different types of partners and bring more and deeper value to the whole meeting room space. And that is because we have an opportunity for TaaS, technology as a service, in which the capabilities and the sensor technology built into the WCD can be leveraged up and used as a great service and value add to end users. We as Sharp, maybe we could do it on our own, but we're also looking to see whether we can find solution partners to go and create great apps and software front ends to utilize the sensor technology in the WCD. So it's just not another box. This is really opportunity for many partners now to build on WCD and bring a real deeper level of service and value to end customers. And hopefully that will come clear also in the next slide or two. But maybe first, looking at some of the key technologies which are being showcased in the WCD, and USB-C is a very important new innovation in this particular WCD. So USB-C is a single connector. It really covers every type of data need that you might envisage with the WCD. So it certainly covers all the video data, but it can cover also internet network data, application data, can handle the touch signals, and even for mobile devices, it's going to be a source of power. So USB-C, great potential, great benefits in simplifying the user experience. We've taken a little step forward in that with our WCD, we'll be packaging and shipping with a high quality 8-meter long USB-C cable as standard. This is pretty good. USB-C cables, if you're lucky, you can get on the market today for 1 to 2 meters. There are quality issues. They're very high bandwidth, and it's actually quite difficult to get a long USB-C cable. And if you are in a meeting room, that length of cable can be really useful to quickly connect to any type of device or notebook within that meeting room. So we're shipping with 8 meters of USB-C cable. Is actually quite a unique USB. You won't find that on the market quite so easily. You do have to be careful with the cable. Long ones can be problematic, but with our 8-meter one, you're in good hands. So very easy setup. It really is the connector which covers everything. If you also look on the Sharp WCD, you'll see that on top, in the middle and also on the right-hand side, we have these additional hubs. The first one in the middle is our AV hub, and that contains the high-performance camera, microphone systems. Within the unit itself, we have good speakers, and this is all Microsoft Skype Teams certified. On the right-hand side, we have this other hub emerging from the cabinet display, and this is our IoT sensor hub. This is where we have our smart sensors stored. So we have occupancy, we have a AI camera built in, temperature, humidity, ambient light, ambient air sensors. Any type of important environmental factor will be measured and can all be fed back into the Azure platform and can all be assisting to make sure meeting experience is as good as possible. So it's a little overview. Let's just look at that sensor hub in a little bit more detail. So we've got the full complement of sensors. This is unique on the market. So we have an occupancy sensor. This is some sort of microwave unit. It detects whether there's anybody within a room. And this can really help with reporting occupancy of a room if a meeting room is available. It helps with resource efficiency, and a facilities manager will have a better overview of whether the meeting rooms are being used when they should be and what is available. So occupancy sensor doesn't necessarily run the meetings better or make the room more comfortable, but the facilities manager can certainly know whether resources are being used effectively. There's temperature and relative humidity sensors. These are certainly very important to maintain a comfortable meeting room environment. I'm sure we've all been in rooms which are stuffy and hot and uncomfortable, and they can be difficult to concentrate. Here we're measuring what's going on, and that is an opportunity then to feed back maybe to air conditioning or to some other form of air improvement mechanism. Light sensors, again, will measure what's going on in the room, and if fed back to the appropriate systems, can either save costs or just make sure that the lighting in the room is as comfortable as possible. And finally, particularly unique, we're looking at the actual air quality. So this isn't supposed to be a chemistry lesson, but we are measuring TVOC or TVOC, total volatile organic compounds. Now, these are chemicals which can often be seen in new buildings, or those chemicals emitted from new IT equipment. Again, they can be quite uncomfortable, maybe smelly, and not allow you to focus on the task at hand. They're not good for concentration. There's also ECO2 and equivalent carbon dioxide, again, which is an indication of the quality of the air. And again, with that information, if it's fed back to an appropriate facilities management system, maybe they can adjust the air conditioning or make improvements to the air quality. So analytics here, it's all about improving the working environment, which helps productivity, and also optimizing facility management costs. There are good reasons why we should be measuring these things. And we do it all with the Sharp WCD. I'll talk here just briefly about the cloud solution. I suppose what you see here is on the top left, you see the Sharp WCD. This is collecting a lot of data. If it is occupancy, light, temperature, air quality, a lot of data. That can be then shifted off into the cloud. So the example here is, of course, Microsoft Azure. It would be the digital twins platform. At this point, maybe I could say, end of business for Sharp. Here we are now looking for partners, and indeed, this is the opportunity now for partners and other people to get there, to use that data, put it on the cloud, make sure it's stored, it's secure, and then to, more importantly, feed it back into appropriate applications, if it's dashboards or for controlling other building equipment. So we are certainly set up to work with the cloud, but more importantly, set up to work with solution providers who can bring even more added value with that data to the meeting room environment. So that's how we see the Microsoft Azure digital twins. It's a great opportunity for more value. Maybe a slide here, maybe a bit techy, a bit more like a spec sheet, but you get the backside view of the Sharp WCD, and you can see comprehensive connectivity, huge amount of flexibility in how you want to set up your meeting or share data or use videos. So a lot of USBs, there's HDMI, there's USB-C, there's all the speakers. So I won't go into detail here, but you can refer to this slide later to see really what the connectivity is like, but there's nothing missing. One of an option which we will be offering with the Sharp WCD is the Active Pen. So this is, it won't be shipping as standard with WCD, but this is certainly an area in which we have a lot of experience, a lot of expertise. And with an Active Pen, it gives a good chance for moderators, for users, for trainers to get more productivity out of a session. So it comes with buttons. These can be menu buttons, or they can be controlling a PowerPoint presentation. It's a built-in function, pointer function. Again, you can bring your attention to certain details on the screen quite easily just with the pointer function. And it's a nice, precise 2mm tip. So Active Pens, we've had many years of experience there. We know many meetings really appreciate that additional functionality and productivity. Here, maybe final slide almost. It's just a summary of where we are particularly special. So with the Sharp WCD, you're getting 70-inch size, great visibility. You can read what's on the screen. With edge-to-edge capacitive touch, so very smooth, very responsive. Looks superb also, the edge-to-edge design. Built-in palm reject, for natural writing. Wireless casting for connecting to Android devices or wireless notebooks, all integrated. We've got the pen, which I've spoken about, and the full complement of IoT sensors. So we really are, in every sense of the way, smart building ready. So a great package. We're pretty proud of it, and yeah, we can't wait to be launching it at ISE in a couple of weeks' time. So maybe just a final reminder of where we are. We're in Amsterdam in 2 weeks in Hall 12, stand E100. We've got 2, if not 3, of the Sharp WCDs on display. We'll have an hourly demonstration of all the features and all the functions with all the benefits. It'll be an exciting time, and please be there. You're more than invited to join with us and see our WCD.
Perfect. Thank you, Chris. Very comprehensive. During your session, we had several questions on cabling and connectivity. So if it's okay with everybody, I'm going to answer all of those, or actually I'm not going to answer, I'm going to ask Chris and Brian, who are the experts in this, to answer those for us. So, and Chris, I'll just pick up on a couple of things you mentioned there. What we are looking for is a display that increases that flexibility and the consistency of UI. So it's basically it's used more in any group meeting space, and absolutely, you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what WCD is going to be designed to do. So thank you so much. If you could stop sharing, Chris, now, and then that will allow Brian to take over the reins here. And I know it's early for you, Brian, so thank you so much for joining us at 8:30 in the morning. Hope you've had your coffee by now. I'm ready to go.
No problem.
Awesome.
No problem.
I'll hand the reins to you. Thanks a lot.
All right. Did we want to talk? Did we want to answer any of the cabling questions? I was trying to type while I was listening to Chris, but
let's do that at the end, if that's okay with you, Brian. You never know if some of them are answered in your presentation, so we'll take it all together. Thanks.
Yeah. No problem. Okay, so just a little bit about Avocor. So Avocor is a US and UK owned company. We are vertically integrated. We do have our own manufacturing facility, as some of them mentioned. You know, we've been flying around back and forth to Taiwan here lately, getting things up and running, getting our production going this week. We are one of the fastest growing display company that's kind of come out of nowhere, I think, for a lot of people, where they didn't see us about 5 years ago, and all of a sudden now we're all over the place, and also partnered up now with Microsoft and on the WCD program. So we're pretty excited about that. We only focus on the UC market. We don't have any other product lines that we manufacture. So this is our only business. We live and die by this. So it's up to me and our team to make sure that we do the best that we can for the market and for our partners out there. We are expanding globally. I think we're in 35 countries now, and continuing to expand that. And we are becoming a kind of the go-to brand for a lot of large enterprise customers. We're doing very well now, getting the large deployments, and of course, Tech Data is helping with that. And I think just overall the category is becoming better accepted now. And of course, with Microsoft coming in and promoting interactivity with the Surface Hub, and now the WCD, which is really catching fire out there, we're starting to see more and more companies putting together their large transition plans. Okay, so I'll kind of go through again how we're viewing the market. Some of this will be repetitious, but I think it's good to bang these points home. You know, Jane mentioned, Chris mentioned, Justine mentioned, these are the first displays that are going to have certification by Skype, Skype for Business, and Teams. And the reason that that's a big deal is because this is going to be the first time that it's going to be a checkbox that an IT integrator or facilities manager is going to be able to say, we're going to put this into a conference room, and we know that the audio quality, the microphone performance, and the camera are all going to meet a very high quality standard, where they don't have to worry about, are they going to get complaints, you know, from the performance. So we're excited about that. The simple install, this single cable that we've been talking about, bringing everything over a single wire for those that have laptops that are compatible with the Type C. If you don't worry. We've got legacy connectivity in there, HDMI, DisplayPort, and then regular USB. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. The sensors will wake the monitor, so when you walk into a room, you're presented with something other than just a dark screen that you don't know what to do with. You don't need to go and find the remote. The display is on and welcoming and tells you plug a cable in. Or if there's a backpack PC that's already there, you know, that will come on. So the smart switching, just to explain a little bit about what that is. Currently today, if I have my laptop connected and somebody else plugs theirs in and I want them to show what's on their screen, I've got to find the remote, or I have to go up to the monitor and switch sources. The way that these monitors work is whoever plugs in last is presenting. And then when they disconnect, it rolls back to the person that was presenting prior to that. And when they disconnect, it just keeps rolling back until there either is no PC connected, or it rolls back to the PC maybe that's mounted on the backpack PC. So again, this natural writing experience, we really want that to be an extension of your Windows 10 laptop, where you're used to, if you have an interactive laptop, you're used to writing on that, and all you're doing is connecting up to this, and you're taking it from a 13-inch to a 65 or 70-inch display. So all the features and building blocks that we put together in here, this was all spec'd out by Microsoft, and you know, we've helped with the development and of the specification that started last year. Started as the LID program, then moved to the Windows collaboration display. But really, overall, it's the building blocks are: you have sensors, you've got a high quality display, you've got a high quality touch and writing interface, and then you've got a single cable capability, which, you know, we've always talked about it in the industry of, you know, that's been the nirvana. You know, I've been in the industry since back in the projection days, and we were always trying to get that single cable. You know, one cable was what everybody wanted. Now we're finally there to be able to send everything that you need and have all that communication over a single cable. That smart switching, I think it may not seem like a big deal, but when you start using it, you'll realize, you know, that it really does make this make those meetings go smoother. And as Justine talked about, the faster you can get a meeting up and going, the faster you can get through those meetings and get the information communicated and get out of there and get back to getting your work done, and you free up those conference rooms. And then, of course, the certification for Skype and Teams. All right, so let's just real quick talk about the Type C, so that if there's still confusion over there, hopefully this will answer it. So Type C is a standard connector that's coming on most devices. The thing to just be cautious about is not all Type C connectors are created equal, and there is confusion out there between what's a Type C connector, which is the physical connector, and then what is the type of communication that goes on behind it. So we've got DisplayPort that you can put across a Type C, HDMI, as well as you know, some other protocols like what Apple uses. And so this particular cable, it takes, for all intents and purposes, it combines 4 cables into one. These are DisplayPort, USB, so DisplayPort for video, 4K, 60 hertz video, USB communication, which is your touchback, your ink back, your audio, and any of your data communication controls, the HID, any of that goes across USB. You get power that comes back from the display. So when you plug that Type C cable into your laptop starts to get power. And there's two things that I've seen just by showcasing this at shows and doing demos and everything is when people realize, wait, I'm getting power to my laptop, but I don't have it plugged in. That's that kind of the instant joy that they're like, that is a really cool idea. And then the last thing is getting internet. So you plug this in, you're getting wired internet. And at least on the Avocor unit, any USB that you connect to it is going to get internet through that. So even if you're connecting a legacy laptop, as long as you connect up that USB, you're going to get internet. So again, back to this question on what about Apple devices? If they don't have a Type C, if they have a Type C, they're going to get everything that a normal Type C gets. If they don't have a Type C, or legacy PCs that don't have a Type C, the minute you plug that USB in, you're getting internet. Okay, so this is what it supports. And the big thing is that 4K 60 hertz. That's what we're all trying to get to. That gives you not only the best image quality, but also the best writing experience. It is driverless. That's part of the specification for Type C. And as Chris mentioned, not all cables are created equal. So just be cautious when you're pulling or deciding to use other cables with this, because some will work and some don't. I've tested 3-meter cables that work great, and I've tested 6-meter cables that don't work at all. So you do really need to understand and frankly test them out before you go and buy a bunch of them. And there are standards out there. There's logos. Some people may use them. Some people may call them high speed, super speed, galactic speed. There's no lack of confusion out there, and I can tell you I'm confused. I'm working with suppliers that make cables, and sometimes they're confused of what it is that they want. Some cables will do a great job of connecting the data speed, but won't deliver any power. So just, again, the caution and all of that, and sort of bear with the industry as we make these transitions from HDMI and DisplayPort and USB to these single cables. It will come, but it's going to have some turbulence with it. So, all right, our interactivity. Again, we all talk about natural touch. The main thing is just we want the customer to get up there, not to have any lag, to be able to use their pen to write like they would, on a piece of paper or on their tablet or whatever. Our particular pen is a fine tip pen. You turn it around and it has an eraser to it. We also have palm erase. So, you can write along, you can erase with your eraser, or you can use your palm to do that. And again, fast inking speed so that you don't want to have any of that lag that goes on. And then optical bonding, where we take glass and we actually glue it to the front of the LCD to reduce any of the parallax or any gap that would be in there. So you can, really, if you're standing close to the display, you can see what you're doing. It looks like you're actually writing as opposed to having a gap on there. Okay, just key features again: single cable, IoT sensors for intelligence and analytics, and you'll continue to hear more and more about the use of sensors and the amount of data that is going to go to Azure, and what are we going to do with that? And I think as an industry, we're going to learn about that. We're all starting off with some sensors that we believe are of value to our customers, and our customers will tell us they like this, they don't like that, they want more of this. There's sensors that are being developed daily that we will learn about and we will put into these. Specifications will change. So, that's just a way of saying, again, you get an opportunity now to jump on this ride, that we're all starting from the beginning, and you'll get to see this grow over the months and years to where you can look back and go, oh, I remember when they only had, X amount of sensors, and now these things are, they're connecting to things in the room, and we've got low energy Bluetooth sensors that are built into chairs, and this is how we're going to be doing a lot of stuff. We'll have facial recognition that will give you feedback at the end of the meeting. That'll be like how pleased were people in the meeting, how happy were people, what was the satisfaction level. We're going to be doing real-time speech processing to where we're going to get to that where I'm speaking in English to my team in Taiwan, but they're hearing it in Taiwanese or in Chinese. That's where I think we're going to get to, and that's the exciting part of this. So, it's great that we've got AV integration into this, and again, the certification. This is really the excitement about this product, is we're thinking through a lot of these things and building them in to where we get those building blocks set up to now grow. Just real quick about our gazintas and gazautas that we've got in here. So we put all of our connectivity on one side. We've got Ethernet in and out, the Type C. We've got your legacy ports with HDMI and display port and matching USBs, right? And all this is kind of what you would expect. We also put in a power port for this. And the reason that's I think kind of interesting is when you go and somebody wants to put a backpack PC on this. So we've got an area for the backpack PC, and then you can plug that backpack PC right into the power on the monitor. You don't have to run another cable back to the wall. And then we've got internet or Ethernet that's going to loop out of the monitor that you can just bring back. So it really is this, the monitor only takes two cords, if you will, to connect it, power cord and Ethernet. Everything else then can be done right on the unit. So you could configure these and just start, hanging and banging these on the wall. There was a question about handles, if they could be removed, at least on the Avocor one. Yeah, it's 2 screws, the handles come off if you don't want to leave those on there once they're installed. Okay, now into the IoT part of things. So, of course, we've got presence sensors and ambient light and temperature and device health and device usage. There's polling and there's pushing information that goes. Some information is going to get pushed out to the Azure cloud. Other data gets polled. The reason this is important is because somebody's paying for all that data that goes back and forth. So you want to be careful to not just be shoving a bunch of data out there for sending data, because that starts to get expensive. So I think we want to be intelligent about the amount of data that gets pushed out there automatically and the amount of data that they can pull. So we're going to be, obviously there's the IoT hub. There's what we keep talking about, the dashboards that people are going to be building and that we're going to be integrating with this. And that's really where the gold mine is. That's where the money will come from, is the amount of information that gets put out onto that dashboard and what people are willing to pay for. Some people are going to be willing to pay for more data than others. Some people are going to be willing to pay for very specific analytics that will go on either at the monitor side or at the cloud. Why is this interesting? Bottom line is, this is really the first time that a device that everybody now wants to put into their conference rooms is going to have something other than just a single functionality to it. So, as we mentioned, this is really a convenient place for sensor installation. By putting sensors in there, we now get people who never would have put a sensor in their room to begin with. We're getting those sensors in there. It's a bit of a Trojan horse where they go, oh, I like that. This was interesting. Now I see the value behind it. Now I'm going to sign up for the Azure cloud information, and they start to see how all of this gets put together. Okay, last thing here, and we're wrapping up. So just how the platform features flow. So if you think about it, you've got, you've got your enterprise level, and then you start to work down through. So each of these, you when you get your dashboard information, you can look globally at all your systems. Like if you've got 500 conference rooms out there and you want to look how are those doing aggregated all the way up, or you can look at a campus or a building or a floor, or all the way down to a single room. So it becomes very interesting, not only for an IT manager, but also for a facilities manager. And different companies will have different people that that information will be gold for. So what we've talked about before is getting the status information and the ability to control those meeting rooms. So if you say, hey, I've scheduled a meeting at 10:30 today, but I don't show up until 10:40, people are going to know that. If you go late, that information is going to be out there. Or if you don't show up at all, I think Microsoft talks about the zombie rooms. So the worst thing is somebody schedules a room and never shows up. So that room gets blocked, nobody else can use it, but nobody was in it. So with the sensors that we have in here, people will be able to say, there was a meeting scheduled, and after 5 minutes, we don't show any motion in that room. We're going to release that room. We're going to let somebody else book that room. So now all of a sudden meeting utilization gets up there. So pretty cool. All right, last thing, we're welcoming partnerships. Obviously we're all partnering up here with Tech Data. We've got a lot of people that are now starting to be interested in the sensor ability of putting sensors on the monitors. I'm sure Chris is getting a lot of calls, just like I am, from partners going, maybe that never would have talked to us before, and all of a sudden now are saying, hey, we're sort of interested in what you guys are working on. We keep hearing about this WCD. And I think, I personally, having, been traveling around, it's now becoming something more common that I hear people talk about. So it's out there. It's great news. I think ISE is going to be the big coming out party. I'll be there. I'm excited to be there. And again, we'll be in the Microsoft booth. We're also in, we're going to be scattered around, and I think we've probably got about 10 more displays scattered around ISE. So hopefully, as you go around and see the different partners at the show, you'll kind of start to see how everybody's positioning things and what they're using them for. So anyways, this was it. We're shipping now. We've got pre-orders available. These things are going to be rolling out in the marketplace here in the next week or so. All right, that was it. Thank you all.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Right, I'm just a little bit aware of time, so thank you for your presentation. I think it was great to hear from both Avocor and Sharp. So Brian and Chris there on their WCD, and thanks Justine for positioning it. As you hear, the units will be available at ISE for everybody that's coming. Head over to the respective Avocor and Sharp booths, or come to the Maverick booth, where we will have the WCD units there on display as well. And we'd love to host you. We'll also have SRS available to use, and Hub with more information about Hub 2S. So without more ado, let's just answer some questions. Cabling, I'm going to paraphrase 3 or 4 questions that have come in. So Brian and Chris, feel free to jump in here. Is there a maximum length of USB-C cable available? And is there anything other than USB for connectivity that's available, or is there any adapters to use USB-C? Chris, do you want to take that one?
I'll start off with the length. So we'll be shipping with 8 meters, which is actually a phenomenal length already. I'd be surprised if there was anything standard more than 8 meters. But beyond that, if you found something more than 8 meters, as Brian already said, be very careful, very careful.
Yeah, good point. Thanks, Chris. And what we'll do as Maverick is when we distribute these is offer you cables that we have pre-tested. So anything we offer you as an attach with WCD will be pre-tested. One quick question, Brian, you answered this, but I think it's worth coming back to. Can we connect Apple devices through to WCD?
Yeah, you can. In fact, I was just testing them out last week. So no problems with any type of normal MacBook Pro through both HDMI, USB, or Type C, because the standard that Microsoft has chosen, this particular Type C is DisplayPort, so it's a very common protocol. It's not anything proprietary. And then we even went and hooked up the new iPad, which has got a Type C on it. And that worked. You know, those of us that I use a Surface Go, which has a Type C on it, and that works. You know, that works great also. So I think from an overall standard, you know, we're getting there. We definitely are going to run into issues where this laptop works and this one doesn't, and we're just going to have to work through those. You know, we've seen it out there, and it's, you know, I want to say it's not the display's fault. It's the laptop manufacturer. Sometimes they haven't caught up to where we are right now, and they're going to require BIOS updates or things like that. So again, you know, it's a bit of a, we are on the cutting edge here, and sometimes cutting edge does lead to some customer service calls. So
indeed, we're on the bleeding edge here, Brian, aren't we? Which is good to be. Okay, thank you for that. Chris, question for you: can the AV hub on the top of your display be angled to reflect maybe if the display is mounted higher or lower?
Yeah. So 2 things I'll say. One, it can be removed entirely in case you just have your own AV camera unit which you want to use instead of the one on top, so it can be removed. I had a quick look at the spec, and when it says tilt, it says something to do with the mounting plate TBD, so I haven't got clarity on that for myself.
Okay, all right, so we're a couple of months out of getting those sort of production units in your hands. So Chris, I think when you've got that, you'll be able to answer that for us. Thank you.
Yeah.
One question, Brian, I think you could take this from Luke. Says, many companies don't want guests on their network, which is an interesting question because we've talked about these things being appliances and building blocks. How would you answer that?
So kind of a double-edged sword. So the reason that we like the wired is because the wired, typically you can put that on a secure. Most people don't want people on a wireless network in their system. So this allows to have a wired secure guest network that isn't part of your wireless you know, intranet. This can be just its own port. If that's a problem, then the IT manager would need to go in and disable that functionality.
I guess the other option, Brian, you can utilize the HDMI or the DisplayPort connection instead for visitors and disable the network.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's such a great feature, though. I'd be surprised if somebody really, you know, I would say a company that would take issue to that probably has got a really, really secure, you know, system that's going on, and maybe this isn't the product for them. You know, there's other products that we all make that might be a better fit. But you know, this is sort of taking a really cool feature and saying, well, we maybe not want that. It starts to dilute. Like, well, what's the point about this all? You know, the big thing is it's a single cable and it does all this stuff. And then if you take away, you know, one feature, you take away another feature, you know, I would just caution.
I think we'll probably carry on debating this, Brian. You're absolutely right, and it's horses for courses, which is why it is going to be an appliance and building block. So we're going to continue to build on this. So I'm going to just close that there now and say thanks very much for joining, everybody. ISC is our next touch point. Only 2 weeks' time, scarily enough. But also your local Maverick countries will be holding Connect to Experts events. So these are just drop-in events around WCD in the next few months. So please speak to your local Maverick team, and they'll tell you when and where they're going to be. Oh, Brian, it's a lovely flower you've just shared with us. Okay. It's all right. You can stop sharing, it's fine. It's lucky you didn't bring up your private emails, that's all I have to say. The presentation will be sent out as a link probably tomorrow now, and you'll get this, so please review again. Please reach out to myself or Simon if you have any questions for Maverick. So thank you panelists, a great job as always, and thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Cheers everyone.
Good day. Bye bye.